Good morning, Mountains. We are live here in Warfield, Kentucky. We got JJ Pruitt to my left, Bradley Damron from the main street to Marbone Creek to my right, and I am Darryl McCoy here on this beautiful Monday morning. Guys, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How you all doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, whenever I was on my way up here, I got caught in a little bit of rain, but for the most part, it was a smooth trip.
Yeah, that must have been Bradley why he made us 30 minutes late coming on today.
Well,
It's because he got caught in the rain. Think
fashion,
so?
fashionably late.
I don't know that a windbreaker is fashionably.
Come on now, I'm bringing the windbreaker back.
Is it starter windbreaker? That's what you need.
Yeah, that's probably what.
It's Aeropostale.
Get the old '90s Charlotte Hornets starter jacket everyone had.
Yeah, I guarantee he's got one. But as we get started, this segment brought to you courtesy of Punk's Tire. Guys, make sure for all your tire needs, you go to Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires in Virgie, Kentucky. They are the #1 tire business in Pike County. And listen, you just call them. They'll have your tires ordered. They'll have them ready. And right now they have a full stock waiting on you. So make sure they probably got your tire in stock. So no waiting. You go over there, get to watch the startup show if you go there in the morning. And, they make you very hospitably. They're very good to their customers. They treat you like family from the second you walk in the door. So, guys, as we're getting ready to get started here, again, it is Monday morning, and it feels like a Monday to me. It's been a late night, so, we're going to get started on today's stuff as it is September 23rd, 2024. JJ, what do you got for us?
The year was 1846. And on this day, astronomer Johann Galle became the first person to ever observe the planet Neptune, the existence of which had been mathematically predicted by U-brain John Joseph Leverrier and John Couch Adams. Now, it's interesting to me that they're able to, discover stuff like this with the resources that they had back in the 1800s. Like, that is still fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, discover other planets, just to have that kind of technology, I think that's really cool.
That's true.
Yeah. I got the year was 1969. The American film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid had its world premiere, and it became a Western classic, especially noted for the pairing of Paul Newman and Robert Redford as the titular outlaws. I think that's how you say it.
Titular.
Yeah, titular outlaws. Now, I don't really know many of Paul Newman's films. I mainly know The Hustler and The Color of Money, and I think there's another one. What was that movie called? The Untouchables. Yeah, from the 80s. But I would imagine that this is a really good film as well.
Great movie.
No, I've never. Well, I probably watched it back when I was a kid. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
TBS used to play it a lot.
Yeah, well, I probably watched it.
Well, I got one last one for you. The year was 1980 when Jamaican musician Bob Marley, who was especially known for popularizing the reggae genre, performed his last concert, a sold-out show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The Bob Marley. I did not realize that he only went to 1980.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was late 80s, but very interesting there. Also, this day in history, 1926, upset of the decade, Gene Tunney beats defending champ Jack Dempsey by a 10-round unanimous decision at Sequential Stadium, later known as JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for the World Heavyweight Boxing title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Jack Dempsey goes down.
Did you know that Jack Dempsey has some local ties around here?
No.
Apparently his family has some relations to some of the Dempsey people from this area. They moved out. I want to say Colorado or something at one point, but I know people who are cousins of Jack Dempsey's family and stuff.
Well, they, also I'll tell you another one. Buster Douglas has a lot of ties to the area.
He does. Yes, he does.
Yep. So the Soviet atomic bomb. U.S. President Harry Truman announces evidence that Russia's first nuclear device destination is the United States on this day in history. Let's see. Marciano KO's Walcott, 1952. Undefeated Rocky Marciano knocks out defending champ Jersey Joe Walcott in the 13th round at Municipal Stadium, Philadelphia, for the World Heavyweight Boxing title. Nixon Checkers speech. U.S. Vice President candidate Richard Nixon makes his checker speech defending the gift of Cocker Spaniel to his daughter. So, not something I don't think that they should put in this day in history, but it happens. Little Rock crisis, 1957. President Dwight D. Eisenhower orders U.S. troops to support the integration of 9 black students at Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas. Now, if you remember, this first started back about 2-3 weeks ago, so that must have been a really tough 3 weeks in American history.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I mean, man, those little kids. I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but people were yelling and screaming and throwing things at little children. And I'm like, I mean, like, you want to know the worst of humanity? Watch that. Anyone throwing anything and yelling things at little kids deserves to be fired into the sun. Anyway, go ahead.
1962, ABC's first color TV series, The Jetsons, premieres, created by Hanna-Barbera and Joe Barber. So, Jetsons was something that was on when I was a kid. It wasn't my favorite cartoon, but you'd watch it until the other ones come on.
I liked the Flintstones better than I did the Jetsons.
Yeah, I did too. A lot better. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, directed by George Royal Hill and Paul Newman and Robert Redford, as JJ just said. It premiered in a theater in New Haven, Connecticut. Paul McCarty rumored dead. Northern Star and Illinois University newspapers start rumors that Paul McCarty is dead in 1969.
I'd heard that rumor for the longest time, that like the Paul McCartney that we see today is like a double.
Yeah.
But then you look at the music that he composed, and it's like, well, did you really find somebody that could?
Yeah,
that could, you know. I mean,
yeah. Let's see. Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter presidential debate was aired this day in history in 1969. Then we got, it's 1976 that happened. Jane Fonda's anti-nuke rally, 1979. 200,000 attend anti-nuke rally in Battery Park in North Carolina, or in New York City. Now, this right here, Jane Fonda, I did not know that was in 79 because that was when I was born. But I remember when I was a kid seeing a lot of Jane Fonda bumper stickers on cars. So, for it to be, I was born, 3 years later. So by the time I remember, it was probably about 8 years after that. So, a lot of people was upset over Jane Fonda back then, Bradley.
Yeah, there's a lot of people still upset about Jane Fonda. I mean, I don't know, man. Whenever you're taking pictures, laughing and smiling with people who are killing U.S. troops, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, I agree.
Hard to let go of that stuff.
1979, Major League Baseball, St. Louis Cardinal legend Lou Brock steals 938th final stolen base of his career.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of stolen bases.
Yep.
Second most all time.
Next to Ricky Henderson, I would imagine.
Yeah, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
The best leadoff hitter ever.
1983, Major League Baseball pitcher Gaylord Perry announces his retirement after 22 seasons, career record 314, 265 with a 3.11 ERA and 3,534 strikeouts.
And probably caught doctoring 3,000 baseballs.
Yeah.
He had that reputation.
Yeah. 1984, San Francisco 49er quarterback Joe Montana misses his first start in 49 games. 1984, Sparky Anderson is the first manager to win 100 games in both leagues, as he done it with the Cincinnati Reds. 1987, Nigerian President Ibrahim Babangida, I'm butchering that name, creates 2 states. As one of them he names after himself, and it looks like that's in Syria. So I guess with power comes a lot of Bradley. Would you name Marbone Creek, Bradley, Damron, Fork if you had the power to?
No, you kidding, Darryl? I don't even want people to know where I live half the time. I don't want to name it after me.
1988, Jose Canseco is baseball's first to steal 40 bases and hit 40 home runs.
So the first person of the 40-40 club?
Yep, the 40-40 club, and we'll tie that in with one of our stories later today. Let's see. Shawshank Redemption, 1994, comes out on this day.
Did you say Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Consistently voted each and every year as like top 3 movie ever.
Yeah.
Phenomenal movie.
Let's see. Shawn Mendes releases his album Illuminati. Trump withdraws White House invite to Steph Curry. Withdraws invitation to the White House, the NBA champ Golden State Warriors, after Steph Curry says he doesn't want to attend. Yep.
I think that's hilarious. Like, well, if you don't want to attend, well, heck with you.
Yeah, your team ain't coming.
Yeah.
The 39-year-old New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees throws 17-yard pass to Michael Thomas to become NFL's career passing leader, breaking Brett Favre's record of 6,300 completions. Saints beat Falcons 43-37 in 2018. And let's see, 2018 Tour Championship men's golf, East Lake. Tiger Woods wins by 2 strokes. And it's his 80th PGA Tour win. That's huge, 80 wins. And that rounds out this day in history. So, JJ, who do we need to wish happy birthday to?
We got a couple of individuals that have birthdays today. We're going to go with Jason Alexander.
Okay.
We're going to go with Anthony Mackie.
All right.
We're going to go with Matt Hardy.
And the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
I lived in North Carolina, and they actually lived about 8 miles from where I lived in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to go with Jermaine Dupri.
Oh, Jermaine Dupri. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to go with Bruce Springsteen.
The boss.
We're going to go with Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Little John Cena, so you can't see me.
There you go. And last but not least, we're going to go with Jason Momoa, the Aquaman.
Yeah. There you go.
Every girl's crush these days.
Yeah, well, until they see me.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. The
people often say I'm the Jason Momoa of the left fork of Marbone Creek.
Is that what they call you, Bradley? Let's jump over to the Book of Faces here and see whose birthday it is on there. Christy Meddings. Happy birthday, Christy Meddings. Her daughter Reagan cheered in college. Went to Tulsa, and she is the sister of one of our good sponsors, Billy Davis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jeremy Block, another Tulsa fan. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Johnny Alvin, principal of Shelby Valley Middle School. Happy birthday, Johnny Alvin. Here's a very important one, as we got him represented here in the studio. Brady Dingus.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, Brady Dingus. Let's see. Jeremy Caldwell or Caldwell Insurance in Madison, Kentucky. And Cam Hayes of Whitesburg plays at Jenkins now. JoJo Ratliff, former East Ridge Warrior. Let's see, and I think that will pretty much round out our birthdays. So happy birthday to them, guys. That is our birthdays and this day in history. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into all the happenings from last week's football, high school football. Make sure you come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. Award-winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family-owned and family-operated. Stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires Appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639-TIRE.
Wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Are now available at Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance Little Flower Dental Clinic. Same day crowns. No more temporary impressions and wearing temporary crowns. Same day crowns. Now available at Little Flower Dental Clinic. We also offer cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canals, and bridges. Call for an appointment today at 487-9505. We accept most major insurances, Medicare and Medicaid, and even a sliding fee scale. Little Flower Clinic, your medical home in the mountains.
And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Damron, and Darryl McCoy. This segment brought to you courtesy of Freddie Lewis for Pike County Commissioner. Freddie used to be the Pike County jailer, done a fabulous job there. And listen, I'm ready for a better Pike County, Bradley. So I know who I'm going to cast my vote for come November.
Absolutely, Darryl. You know,
What
and
about
I don't live in Pike County, but I can still hope for a better Pike County.
There you go.
I'm the exact same way. I don't live in Pike County either, but I do know that there's one individual who preaches one specific thing, and that is the future and wanting to make the future, better for the next generation. And he's the man to do it.
That's it. Vote Freddie Lewis, Pike County Commissioner. Now, as we get ready to go into things, guys, before we get into high school football here, I want to give some notable scores from around college football. And Bradley, if you can bring up the scoreboard of some of the area games, Marshall, Ohio State, notable games, I'm going to take, and guys, I don't know if you got a chance to see this, but Shadur Sanders, finally is in the news for something positive, as he throws a strike to LaJohntay Wester as Colorado beats Baylor on a last-second touchdown, 38-31. Check out this pass.
Oh, wow.
Big time, not just pass, but catch by LaJonte Wester. But, Shadur Sanders threw it right where only the receiver could get it. He had to come back for it. And, what a way to end a game. And if any program needed that, it was Colorado, because they've been under fire for the last little bit.
I had heard a little bit about this game, but I hadn't had a chance to see the play. They said it was a freak type play.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that's unbelievable.
It definitely a big time play there as Kentucky whomps Ohio. Bradley, what was the final in that one?
I'm pulling it up, Darryl. The thing is, there's not one big guy score with all the local things. So I'm having to type them all in individually. But, yeah, they beat Ohio pretty handily. They bounced back.
Here we go. I got it here as 41-6. Yeah, and in that game, Brock Vandergrift 17 for 24, 237 yards. Did not score a TD through the air though, and
he can move the ball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Sumo Karangbe had 12 carries, 47 yards. 2 touchdowns in that game. Gavin Wimpsett come in, backup quarterback, went 2 for 3 for 45 yards. He also rushed the ball 9 times for 25 yards and a touchdown. And Barryon Brown rushed for a touchdown. Receiving, Dane Key had an unbelievable run. And if you didn't check it out, go check his hurdle out the other day. He didn't score on it, but 7 receptions for 145 yards. Good day for him. And Derek Jackson, led the team. Wow. This is shocking. The team leader in tackles. What do you think it is, Bradley?
Like most tackles?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but we'll go.
Derek Jackson led it. No, 3. 3 tackles led the team. Him and Dumas Johnson both had 3 tackles. So did Godfrey. They was the 3 that led the team in tackles. That's crazy. I don't know I've ever seen that.
Someone better put a hat on someone. I don't know. That's 3.
So, Bradley, how if you don't care, look up the West Virginia.
West Virginia beat Kansas 32-28. Scored 2 late touchdowns to win that. The Neil Brown climb continues in Morgantown, and I think that was a game that frustrated a lot of WVU fans, even though they got the win. I personally was busy watching my own alma mater playing, so I did see this game, but it was not exactly something that a lot of fans like. Garrett Green had 295 yards passing with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 15 to 30. He also rushed for 87 yards and a touchdown. The league receiver.
I watched this game, and it came down to the final play. Kansas had an opportunity and was driving. Like, they was moving the ball with ease. And I think with like 9 seconds to go, they was on West Virginia's 40, and they got in the backfield and caused the fumble. West Virginia recovered, and that ended the game. But West Virginia was in danger of losing. If they got that fumble, the way the momentum was going, Kansas was probably going to score.
And the wild thing is, you look at that West Virginia team. I think most people would say their best receiver is Hudson Clement, and he's a walk-on, Darryl. I mean, at some point, WVU has to recruit better. I don't know. I mean, listen, Kansas football is not Kansas basketball.
Well, I tell you where they can start is their head coach is Neil Brown. He has ties to Boyle County. I would start right there in my old stomping grounds, and I would recruit the heck out of Boyle County.
I would too. I would. I don't always get it, man. Like Hudson Clement, great player at Martinsburg, walked on there, and instantly became like a big player there at WVU.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, as you're sitting here, Ohio State smacks down Marshall, but they didn't cover the spread, and I picked that. They played them a lot tougher than originally thought. 49-14 victory for the Buckeyes over the Herd, and Earl for Marshall, quarterback, had 16 for 21 passing, 132 yards and a TD. We also had one of the Payne brothers rushed the ball 9 times for 31 yards and a score. And the Payne train.
Ethan Payne.
Yep. Big game for him. Metcalf had 8 receptions, 68 yards and a score. Led the Herd in receptions. And Bradley, again, J.J. Roberts only had 3 tackles. The Herd.
Well, they did give it 49 points, so
well, I guess that's true. Yeah, I could see it in their case.
Yeah,
but
I do appreciate though Coach Heff offering the Tudor's biscuits to Ohio State players to.
Yeah, might get some. Yeah. So let's see, quarterback for Ohio State, Howard, 16 for 20 yards, or 16 for 20 completions, 275 yards, 2 scores. Also had Quentin Junkins, 14 carries, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, led the Buckeyes. And here we go. Ransom for Ohio State led the Buckeyes in tackles with 6. So that's a little more like it, Bradley.
It is a little more like it. That's better.
Still low, but still a little more like it. So that will round us out. Did we have any other big games? Hudson played at Martinsburg, homegrown. Stephen Castador says top receiver at WVU. Yeah, that's what Bradley was just telling us. Said they got, they do got Quisenberry for Boyle County. So they are, Neil Brown is doing something right, Bradley. I forgot about him committing, yeah.
He is. I want to give a little shout out to my old buddy, my old college classmate, Chauncey Winbush, who's the athletic director at Miami of Ohio, and he got the opportunity to go go with his team to Notre Dame this weekend.
Yeah,
he got to enjoy that. He was all excited about that.
Well,
it's always good to see friends do some good things, man.
It is, and JJ Stephen Castador says that Cole Pennington needs to be the quarterback. Do you know who Cole Pennington's dad is?
Chad.
Yes, there you go. JJ does know it.
Yes, sir.
So
JJ.
Here we go.
I mean, you got to hit the layups too, Darryl.
That's it.
Yeah,
he's 1 for 1 today.
Is he anything like his? Can he play like his daddy? I mean,
he can throw it around. I don't know he's Chad, but he can throw it around. He had a solid high school career.
I mean, Chad Pennington was a solid pro starting quarterback.
Which county?
Shoot.
Oh, he played for Sayre, didn't he? Didn't he play?
Yeah. His Chad Pennington coaches Sayre.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And his son played there 2 years ago. Now he's at Marshall, and a lot of people are pushing for Cole Pennington to be the starter. So, as we get started, guys, though, I'll tell you what. Let's go over a couple other things real quick, and then we'll start high school football as soon as we come back in 2 minutes. But let's go really quickly over a couple things that happened in the news. Caitlin Clark named Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark had a rookie year to remember. Too many records she broke to remember, but her and Angel Reese both finished 1-2 in voting. Clark averaged 19 points, Reese 13. Clark 5 rebounds a game. Angel Reese 13 rebounds a game. Clark 8.4 assists. Angel Reese with 2 assists a game. She averaged both of them averaged 1.3 steals. Caitlin Clark actually averaged more blocks than Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark had 14 double-doubles. Angel Reese had 26. And Caitlin Clark had 2 triple-doubles. And Angel Reese had 0. So hats off to her. She went through a lot, guys. And I think by the end of the year, everybody come around being Caitlin Clark fans.
Absolutely. And I think that I read somewhere where she might have finished 5th place in MVP voting.
Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's true or not, but
4th, Bradley says.
4th place? Oh, wow.
4th place MVP vote.
Yeah, I think that she was definitely more valuable than Reese. I mean, yeah, I know she averaged a double-double, 13 and 13, but when you got somebody that averages 19 points and 8 assists, I mean, you're contributing more points, and, I would much rather have her on my team.
Well, and not to mention you're comparing a guard to, a post player.
Yeah.
A post player is going to have more rebounds by extension. Would you rather have Dennis Rodman or would you rather have Steph Curry? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
so I guess it would depend on the team too.
Yeah.
If you have a team that already has a starting point guard, I mean, that's pretty good. But even then,
Bradley, as real quick, tell us about 304 Speedway.
Yeah, man, 304 Speedway in Mingo County. The Kirks are in the process of opening that up, and they've closed on it now. So we're going to get some drag racing in Mingo County soon.
We needed this, man. This is awesome. This will bring a lot of not just tourism to our community, but it will give people things to do on the weekend. I can tell you, opening day at 304 Speedway, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to reach out to Doug Kirk. Not only am I going to be there, I'm going to see if they will allow D&D Sports to do the opening day of drag racing there. That's something I think everybody would love to watch.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, so hopefully we can try to make that happen. That would be something. How fun would it be to get up on Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings and watch drag racing before you get ready for college football?
I think it'd be really exciting.
Or NFL, whatever day it's on. That would be huge.
I think it would be fun to cover that too. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it would be. But hats off to Doug and Justin Kirk as they go into their next venture, and I think they're going to hit a home run with the 304 Speedway. They've been talking for 30 years that they're going to put a drag strip up on that strip job, and to see it finally come to form tickles me to death.
And you know what? It's going to be a big boom to the economy too.
It will,
because people who are like that drag racing community, they're a very loyal bunch, and they're going to come from far and away to see that.
You see what it done for Clay City. It made Clay City infamous in Kentucky, and gives a real huge boost to the economy there. So I'm tickled to death to see it coming here. And one thing I will say that they're going to have to get done, and this might push it to get done, is get cell service from Logan to Williamson. A lot of people will be aggravated to be up there at the drag strip and not have cell service. So hopefully they'll have Wi-Fi or something for people up there. But, that's something that is long overdue. And I think this might just help push it, Bradley.
It might. You know what? They put the service where the infrastructure is a lot of times, Darryl, and now with this moving in, that's going to be a little bit of a nudge, right? A little impetus to put that in there.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, high school football up next here on the Startup Morning Show.
Wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them. especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Central America, head to Sal's Steakhouse. Sizzle your senses with mouthwatering steaks, juicy burgers, savory chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Sal's Steakhouse, where your taste buds will thank you. Unleash the flavor at Sal's. Taste tradition, taste the difference.
In America, what does that mean? It means jobs. It means craftsmanship. And when it comes to Vaughan Bassett furniture, it means value. And Kemper recognizes that. That's why they've dedicated an entire gallery to Vaughan Bassett. Made in America. See the quality. And now, see the price. Come see your favorite Kemper store in Hazard, London, or Somerset.
And we are back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Damron, and Darryl McCoy here, as this segment is sponsored by Quality Metal Roofing. Quality Metal Roofing is your go-to place, JJ, for what?
Good quality metal roofs, like for tin roofs, and also for carports as well, and a free estimate. Located in Lenore, West Virginia.
There you go.
There we go.
And big shout out to them stepping up, guys. Listen, go support them like they're supporting these athletes. You know, we cannot do what we do without Quality Metal Roofing. So please make sure that you frequent their business and give them all the business you can, because they're the one that makes it where you can sit at home and watch the games for free on Friday nights.
Absolutely.
So Bradley, Bradley is going to have to be taken off shortly, but Bradley, we will start, since you've got to go. We'll start in West Virginia. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Upset of the night, Logan, 28-27 over Polka. Tell us a little bit about this game, Bradley.
Yeah, it's a game, Darryl, where, Logan kind of started out quick. They got Polka had an interception, but then Logan intercepted right, or Polka got an opening kickoff fumble. Then Logan intercepted a pass, and then a couple plays later, Lucas Lambert broke free on a 99-yard touchdown run for Logan.
Huge run that really started the momentum.
Logan had survived two blocks two punt blocks for touchdowns. Polka blocked 2 punts and scored touchdowns on those blocks.
That right there will, that will deflate your balloon quickly. And normally when that happens, you're not recovering from that, Bradley.
You are not. And, in the last one, I actually found a fan video of the last bit of the game, and I saw the last punt block. And Polka had a chance to tie, but missed the extra point to the right. Logan then was able to take the ball and get first downs and milk the clock. And number 3, Polka went down on the island, and big win for Brandon Atkins and his Wildcats.
Huge. You knew Logan was right there. You knew Logan was a good football team. It was just, when was it going to click? Things didn't break their way, and all of a sudden, with that missed field goal attempt or extra point attempt, called them the break they needed and got them a huge win there over Polka, who come in. What was Polka ranked?
They were number 3 coming into that game in Class AA. And I tell you, Darryl, just to add to it, it bumps Logan up. The standings will come out tomorrow, but you can kind of pretty much find the projections online. And right now, Logan is projected 13th.
Oh, okay. Well, so
Logan moved up, I think, from 22 to 13 with that win. So it was a huge win for them.
So if the playoffs started today, Logan would be in.
They would be in at 2-2. You know, they have wins over Sissonville and now Polka.
Well, the congrats to Coach Brandon Atkins. So, guys, as let's jump down to some more of the games here as Spring Valley takes down Cabell Midland. And, I figured that this would be the week Spring Valley shocked everybody and got back on the winning track. But I did not see it coming the way it did. 49-19 victory over Cabell Midland, Bradley.
No, I tell you what, Darryl, I'm almost giving up on predicting Spring Valley because I can't figure them out. But I'm not surprised they won. I did pick Cabell Midland. I'm not surprised Spring Valley won. I am surprised they beat them by 30 and beat them going away. I am surprised by that. It does look like Spring Valley's fixing things in that defense. They've been giving up a lot of points. So 49-19, that's pretty convincing right there.
Yeah, big win for Spring Valley. They needed that. Jeremy Pinson says, working and listening at Punk's Tires and Wheel Alignment. Well, hopefully you're watching too, as got us on the big screen there at Punk's Tires. I need to make a trip to Punk shortly, so you may see me sometime today or sometime this week, Jeremy, as we continue on with our West Virginia. 34-21, Nitro takes down Chapmanville. JJ was there for this one, JJ. Tell us what happened in this game.
Well, I mean, I had a chance to watch the number one quarterback in the state. Well, I mean, that's what they said. And, he individual by the name of Josh Moody, and he definitely lived up to the hype.
Josh Moody is a Man, West Virginia native.
Is he really?
Yes, he grew up. His brother played for Man. They was dynamic athletes. Actually, I'm not sure if it was Josh. I think it was that went to Bourbon County and played for David.
Oh, wow.
And now he ends up at Nitro. But Josh Moody, definitely, he's from Man, West Virginia.
I'll tell you what, he definitely lived up to the hype. I mean, whenever the game first started, he was beating you with his legs.
Yeah.
And then he showed you he could throw the ball as well. And then he had another individual on the team his last name was Little John.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help the entire game. Like every time he scored a touchdown, because I believe he ended up having 3 touchdowns. And, one of the things that stood out to me was how fast he was. I mean, it was like as soon as he got the ball, like the way he could accelerate.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. And Chapmanville, they just,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he scored a touchdown, I didn't want to offend anybody in the comments section, but he definitely was a phenomenal player. And, Chapmanville, they showed flashes of, like, you can tell that they're still young.
Oh yeah. I watched this game, and Dakota Dalton, he had I think 3. I think he was on all 3 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, the young freshman showed off his arm. It was just
he can throw.
The defense, wasn't holding their part in this one, and I think he ended up, hurting them at the end. They just couldn't slow Nitro down. Little John and Moody was just too explosive for Chapmanville's defense. But Eli Pridemore can only do so much.
I'm not sure how many seniors are on that team, but if that team doesn't have many seniors, I'll give them maybe 2 years. And they're going to be tough to deal with.
Well, I think they got a few seniors, including Robert Cook, who is one of their big stars. Yeah. But let's look at some highlights from that game.
In the first quarter, take the snap, hands it off to Little John. Little John runs it up the middle, and that'll be touchdown.
This is the Nitro.
The Nitro Wildcats.
The Nitro Wildcats. I'm JJ Pruitt. You might have just witnessed a touchdown. Did he get it?
I'm going to say
he got it.
It was good.
Yeah, as soon as we
touchdown pass, that's going to be it.
I think they're going to give it to him just to,
I think so. He's going to take it, and he will push it in.
Yeah, Little John with the touchdown, ladies and gentlemen.
His 3rd touchdown. No, second.
Yeah. We got 3rd down and 8.
Dalton takes a snap, looking for somebody downfield. He's going to launch it. And that's going to get.
Did he get it?
Caught.
Oh, wow. What a catch by number 3, ladies and gentlemen. That would be number 3, Austin Atkins.
Really has been able to work the defense, especially up front.
And
As
exactly
he
what
hands
we
it off to Cook. Cook could go all the way. The 20, the 10, touchdown, Chapmanville.
I'll tell you what, that's a bad ball.
Now that Nitro's burning time off the clock and in a position to score here, the pass goes and it's caught.
By number, Jesus. It was caught by number 23, Malachi Thomas.
If I'm home watching it on TV. So I can definitely sympathize.
Well,
good pass there from Dalton. He's going to go downfield and he's going to catch it. Touchdown.
That kid's
I mean, Dakota Dalton. Dakota Dalton showing he's got a future. Bradley, the kid highly impressive. Well, Bradley's gone. That was awful nice of him.
Hey, I like your style, Bradley.
Yeah.
Pulled up.
As we sit here, just a big win for Nitro over a Chapmanville team. It's Chapmanville team. They're 1-3, but this is a good Chapmanville team.
It don't look like a 1-3 team, honestly. But you watch them play, I mean, they're playing really well. It's just, a couple of mistakes here and there. And then, Nitro, I'm not going to say anything. Like, Nitro just came out and their offense was just, I mean, yeah. I would love to see the team in the state that's going to actually be able to stop that offense between Moody and, Little John and, the wide receiver number 23.
Yeah.
Malachi, I believe is his name. Like, and the other individual you mentioned, like, I see them making a run for the state.
Yeah, they will. Nitro's very good, and I'm sure that we got Chris Bishop probably in the comment section somewhere that will tell us all about Nitro and who's in their way. But jumping down, Independence takes care of Scott 30-24, and that game was every bit of what we thought it would be. And Scott drops to 1-2. Now that does not. That was not. This Scott team is not 1-2 good.
Why?
I mean, they're better than that. And
I've heard nothing but good things about Scott this year from every person.
Well, they've only won one game, and they played a tough schedule. But the tough thing whenever you take a look at that is, I wouldn't want to be Chapmanville going into Madison, West Virginia next week, because Scott is going to be ticked off knowing that they need to get back to 500. And, so that's going to be a tough game for Chapmanville to win, especially coming in with a freshman quarterback. It's going to be tough. But listen, if Chapmanville can somehow pull that off, then all of a sudden, they're going to have a lot of people jumping on their bandwagon.
Absolutely.
So, then we talked about Logan knocking off Polka 28-27.
That's got to be a huge confidence boost for them. I mean, it's like we mentioned, Polka was number 3 in the state.
Yeah.
So, like, how good is Logan?
Exactly. And then you go up to the Mingo Central, 37 victory over Man. This game right here, I think it was Bam Coleman that was the he got the lion's share of the carries, I think, in this one. Dylan Vance also had a good night up there on the mountain. But, man, he'll be able – I did not – I thought Mingo Central would win this, but I did not see them winning that like that. I figured it'd be, a one-score game.
I looked at the West Side. Like, Man played against West Side, I think, last week, and they lost by 2 touchdowns. And then I was thinking, well – Mingo Central only lost by 1 point to West Side, so I had a feeling it might be a 2-touchdown game.
Yeah, well, Mingo, they started 0-2, but I think we all know Mingo was a good team. It just, they was right there, had a chance to win both games.
Yep.
And ended up couldn't. Really, it's discipline issues, and. So hats off to the Miners as David Jones gets his team back to 500 next week. Point Pleasant comes, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on that game.
Point Pleasant. Does Point Pleasant have a pretty solid team?
It's a game that the Miners can win. Yeah. So then jumping down, Wayne. Now Winfield jumped out 14-0 on Wayne, and then the Pioneers scored 26 unanswered points to advance to 3-0 on the season. This Wayne team is scary right now.
Wow,
that's scary good, and I can't wait. That Wayne's a team that I want to get out there and cover one of their games soon.
So whose class are they in? Like, are they in?
Wayne is 3A, I think.
AAA.
Yeah. I'm pretty. Let's see. Checkville. They might be AA. They might. I think they are AA. They're AA. I'm pretty sure. And then Pikeview. Now Pikeview was up for the longest time in this ball game, and if you remember, even Bradley was hollering that Westside could name their score in this one, and act like Pikeview was going to get smacked down. Well, I think Pikeview gave them some bulletin board material, because they come and they put up a fight and almost knocked off Westside. Westside come back and won 35-25.
So Westside's 4-0.
Westside is 4-0. So
that'll be interesting to see what they do, come into the season, early postseason.
It will. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll jump over to the Kentucky side. We'll come over to the Bluegrass State. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show.
Ready to rev your engines and hit the trails on October 10th through the 13th at the 23rd National Trail Fest in Gilbert, West Virginia. With miles of award-winning trails, sanctioned drag racing, live music, and thrilling poker runs, there's nonstop excitement for everyone. Indulge in mouth-watering food and discover unique finds from our vendors. Located in scenic southern West Virginia, it's the perfect escape from it all.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia's a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
And we are back here with the scoreboard up. We're getting ready to go to the Kentucky scores. JJ Pruitt to my left. I'm Darryl McCoy here on the Startup Morning Show. And we just concluded week 4 of the high school football season. Well, week 5 technically, because you have week 0 in Kentucky.
Tell you what, it's flying by pretty quickly.
Yeah, flying by quickly, but still a lot of football to be played. We're not even halfway through the season yet. So any of these teams still got a shot.
Absolutely.
They just got to figure a way to right the ship if they're not. And you're starting to get into district play in Kentucky. So things for a lot of schools will get a little easier. Some will get a little tougher. So. We'll take a look at the Kentucky scores here. But before we get to that, JJ, want to take a second to thank our great sponsor, Bray and Oakley.
Oh, yes. One of our latest monthly sponsors, Bray and Oakley. They're located in Chapmanville, but however, they do have multiple offices and all throughout Mingo County, Logan County, and Pike County as well. So they're definitely going to be a good addition to our team.
Hats off to Bray and Oakley sponsoring this segment. Bradley, Bradley just left us, and he's back.
Man, the wonderful Optimum Internet on the mean streets of Marbone Creek sometimes leaves a little to be desired.
Well, Bradley, you didn't. We know you got to get out of town. You didn't have to come back on. But
I just didn't want to leave I didn't want to look like I just went.
Well,
I'm gone.
As we went over to West Virginia, when I talked Winfield, was up on Wayne 14-0, and Wayne scored 26 unanswered points to win that game and stay undefeated.
Yeah, and on that, this comeback started with the fumble recovery in the end zone from Tanner McMillian.
Yeah.
From Wayne, and then Jaden Wayman had a big game rushing. I want to say 177 yards and a touchdown.
Oh wow! Okay.
For Wayne, and Pioneers look for real in Double A, and right now they're projected to be number 3 next week.
Well, they that's Wayne. Let me ask you this: does Wayne have a legit chance to win a state title?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, this is the same Wayne team that took Fairmont to the wire at Fairmont in the playoffs last year.
Well, they that right there, I'm sure them folks out Wayne would definitely love to see another state title. And when you sit here, the other game, Independent, Scott played them close, but Scott drops to 1-2. Might be the best 1-2 team in the state.
They're pretty good. When I tell you, Independence got out big, and Scott made a furious comeback a little short, but now that was a game that a lot of people thought Independence would win by at least by a couple scores. You know what I'm saying? So really good game there by Scott.
And what about the Hillbillies going up the Minor Mountain and getting a smackdown from the Miners, 30-7? You know, I did not see that. I thought Man would play them tougher, but the Man noted for that high-powered offense, especially in the passing game with Trey Ward, but just never got going. Courtesy or credit to the Mingo Central defense, but this was a Bam Coleman game, correct?
Well, Bam Coleman and Dylan Vance. Let me pull up the stats here.
And I've said it for a while. This Mingo team, their identity ain't passing the ball. David Jones needs to go back to his Belfry roots and be like, listen, it don't matter who we got at quarterback. We're going to run the football. And listen, they got one of the best athletes in the state at quarterback. So, that will give him time to get used to that position. And, they'll really be able to open things up with him by using that running game. I think they figured things out this week with a big win.
Yeah.
But go ahead and tell us a little bit about it, Bradley.
Well, it was Mingo had a 6-0 lead at the half. It was a very defensive first half. They got that first score. Jacob Maynard intercepted a pass and set that first score. Burt threw a pass to Keziah Joplin. And then there wasn't much offense from either team from there on out in the first half. And then Man took the lead 7-6. Devin Sanders, threw it deep, and Trey Ward made a great catch. Then ran it into the end zone. Did what he does.
Yeah.
And they're up 7-6, and it's looking like it's going to be a back and forth game. But Mingo Central drives down. Jackson Nindy Mills scores on a yard run, gets the conversion, and then that was the start of a 24-0 run for Mingo Central to close it out. 24 unanswered points. The last of which came on a safety. Where I'm pretty sure it's LaQuest Strother who got in there and kind of forced a fumble, and Man kind of just batted out of the end zone, instead of risk.
Well, whenever you sit there and look,
yards and a touchdown, and Dylan Vance had 19 carries for 115 yards and a touchdown, and that was most of it,
Well, that was a good win for the Miners. They beat a good Man team and took care of business at home. Again, that's been their problem. They've not been able to take care of business this year, Bradley, and they did it. On Friday night, and ended up getting back to 500, and they'll have a chance to get to Point Pleasant to have their first winning record of the season.
Yeah, and and they found something, that Man defense in the second half. They found they were getting a lot of a really good push at the middle, and so most of their runs were coming right up the gut.
Yeah,
and they were doing really well with that.
Now, the last game real quick. West Side 35-25 victory over Pikeview. Pikeview jumped out and led this game for a minute, and then West Side ended up coming back winning by 10.
Yeah, Pikeview led at the half actually, 17-14, and West Side came back, and I think most people would have thought West Side would win this one fairly easily, but sometimes things happen. You never know with the Friday Night Lights. But Caden Vance keeps showing why he's one of the best quarterbacks we have in the mountains. Listen to this passing line here, though. 16 of 19 for 234, 2 touchdowns, but also had 15 carries for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
See, 5 touchdowns total?
5 touchdowns total. I mean, it's almost a weekly thing that he's getting 4 and 5 touchdowns total. But a guy who we don't mention as much, but Kyler Kennedy, his top receiver.
Yeah.
He's one of the best receivers we have, Darryl.
I agree.
6 catches, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I agree with you more. I've been keeping my eye on that kid for last couple of weeks. Every week he's having big games, and going back to Caden Vance, Caden Vance is a kid. Does he legitimately have a chance? To compete for the Kennedy Award?
I wish he did, but the way voting tends to go in West Virginia, typically, unless you're, like used to, maybe you could win in the old AA, when it was like that. But they kind of seem to be favoring this year when they talk about kids in AAA or 4A, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like I remember there being a quarterback who at one point ended up being a Division I quarterback at UMass, and he couldn't get a sniff for the Kennedy Award. It'd be because he played single A ball. So I think he's good enough, Darryl. I don't think it's a question of that, but I think it's a question of what will the voters do it. And I'm just going to be honest with you, there's not a lot of voters in Southern West Virginia anymore. And that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing that hurts kids in Kentucky. Kentucky has no AP voters in Eastern Kentucky, so definitely hurts our kids over here in the mountains. But Bradley,
I do think though he should be Darryl, if he's not a first-team All-State quarterback in AA in West Virginia, then something's wrong.
Yeah. Do you need to go, Bradley?
I do, buddy. I do, but I did want to pop on. I didn't want to leave you hanging because. Again, I want to thank Optimum for this lovely interruption, but
well, they Optimum, listen. At the end of the day, they have the same kind of effect over here in Kentucky, so we definitely understand it. But
all right, guys, we're on the regular day to Cleveland, so we'll see.
Well, prayers going out to you. So,
all right,
guys, let's jump over to Kentucky side here as. 48-7, Ashland over Russell, 48-7 in a big game. LeBron Strader had a huge game in this one. I think he had 3 touchdowns in this one. LeBron Strader did, and jumping down Breathitt County, the Riverbank boys, 21-19 victory over Hazard, knocking off the undefeated Hazard Bulldogs.
Let me see.
So
how do you think Hazard's going to look in the postseason? I mean, that's something I've been wondering because it seems like so far, they've, looking pretty decent. So
they're going to look good, and we'll know a lot when district play comes. The district play, they jump into district play. I'm not sure if it's this week or next week. But this Hazard team, they got a tough district with Paintsville and Pikeville. So we'll know exactly what they are when they come out of district. But,
Yeah, I'm really excited because it seems like all of those scores have been pretty dominant.
Yeah, they got a high-powered offense. And, going to Breathitt County, going to Breathitt County, you had a chance to lose that game. That's one of the toughest places to play down on the riverbank. Mm-hmm. One of the toughest places to play in the mountains. And Hazard went and lost by 2, but that was a tough, gritty game. I think at the end of the day they might have lost, but they probably got better.
Moral victory.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the moral victory because they should have won it. They was the favorite,
right.
But it's one of them games where you play a team like Breath that close at home. You're like, okay, we could have easily won that game. Then Harlan falls to Eastridge 26-22. So big win for Donnie Burdine and the Warriors. Then we got Fairview jumping up 42-20 on Greene, Ohio. And JJ, see if you can find some stats from that, because I want to see what Jace Manning done in that game. I've not looked his stats up yet, but I know Betsy Lane 56-32 win over Floyd Central. Now this game right here, Floyd Central made it a lot closer than I think anybody expected, and we'll talk about their game next week. After we get done with the scores here, they'll go play Pike Central, a Pike Central team without Jameer Knuckles. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but in this game right here, it was Andrew McCutcheon that stowed the show for the Bobcats like he normally does. Andrew McCutcheon had 15 carries, 229 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. He also caught 1 pass for 14 yards and a score receiving. Braxton Blackburn and Weston Harris led the Bobcats in tackles with 16 apiece. Gavin Combs had 14. Brady Maynard had 13. Reese Hamilton 12. Connor Bentley 11. Cole Lafferty 10. And Ty Isom 10.
Okay, so let's see. For Fairview, it looks like Jace Manning had 7 completions, 7 for 13 for 236 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns.
Okay. How many rushing yards did he have?
Let's see. It looks like he had 4 rushing attempts for 65 yards and 1 touchdown.
All right. So he had 4 scores altogether.
4 scores total.
Yeah. 4 scores and 7 years ago.
There we go.
Who said that, JJ?
Not 100% sure. I mean, I remember the quote. Let's see.
JJ, that's like one of the most famous quotes in American history.
I know.
I thought you knew this stuff.
It's been a minute. It's let's see, 4 scores 7 years ago. Who would have said that? I'm not even.
You ain't got to guess.
I'm not gonna guess to make myself look even worse. So I'm just gonna.
Well, have you ever heard of a guy named Honest Abe Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln said that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I
knew it was one of the presidents. I was going to say George Washington, but I wasn't sure which one it was, but that was going to be my guess.
Yeah, 4 scores and 7 years ago. I'm disappointed in you, JJ. I figured for sure the knowledge that I figured you would have knew that.
It's been a minute since I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself. I knew it was a president. I just couldn't remember which president it was that said it.
Jumping down Montgomery County played Greenup a lot closer again. Very tough win for Greenup County over Montgomery. A lot of people thought that would be a blowout victory for the Musketeers, but Montgomery County somehow found a way to make it a game. And Tyson Salmons stowed the show in this one. He's 6 for 11 passing, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air. But he also carried the rock 10 times for 201 yards and 4 scores on the ground. So 6 touchdowns total from Tyson Salmons for Greenup County. And then you also we don't have defense stats for them yet, but Austin Walker carried the ball 12 times for 108 yards and a touchdown as well. So as we go, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back here on the Startup Morning Show as we finish the rest of the Kentucky scores.
Central America, head to Sal's Steakhouse. Sizzle your senses with mouthwatering steaks, juicy burgers, savory chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Sal's Steakhouse, where your taste buds will thank you. Unleash the flavor at Sal's. Taste tradition, taste the difference.
In America, what does that mean? It means jobs. It means craftsmanship. And when it comes to Vaughn Bassett furniture, it means value. And Kemper recognizes that. That's why they've dedicated an entire gallery to Vaughn Bassett. Made in America. See the quality. And now, see the price. Come see your favorite Kemper store in Hazard, London, or Somerset.
We're back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy here as we are Bradley Damron-less now.
I'm already missing our boy Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley.
He has some business to handle, and we're holding the fort down in the meantime.
I think we can. It's going to be tough, but I think we can manage.
Absolutely,
Bradley.
Yeah, absolutely. We still got a couple of games we need to talk about. There's a couple that we haven't mentioned, including one of mine, which was a survivor pick.
Now, and we will. You can refresh my memory. Who did you pick, JJ?
I picked actually.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before you do that, I want to give a big shout out to one of our newest sponsors, and JJ guys is working on Employee of the Month.
Hey, I'm trying my best.
He has picked up a few monthly sponsors, and right now he's the MVP of the D&D Sports Network as he picks up Minas Restaurant Mexican Grill in Chapmanville, West Virginia.
Well, I'm not going to take any credit because it's a team effort at the end of the day, and I wouldn't have been able to get my sponsor if it wasn't for my main man Darryl teaching me the sales.
Well, no, don't sell yourself short. You're doing a good job taking care of business over in the West Virginia side. That right now, JJ's the cog that's making it roll. So hats off to JJ. That's what, your third or fourth monthly sponsor that JJ has picked up. If you have a local business, we got a couple we got to reach out to today. But if you have a local business and you want to grow your business while helping mountain athletes, message us today, and JJ or myself or one of our sales team will reach out to you and try to lock that down. So.
Absolutely. And one more shout out to Mina's Mexican Restaurant located in Chapmanville. If you're looking for some good quality Mexican food and you just so happen to be in the area, they are the perfect place. And also for the next week, if you mention the D&D Sports Network, they'll hook you up with a 10% discount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Minas is my go-to place when I'm in Chapmanville before games.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I get game day ready, is with a good meal from Minas.
What is your go-to meal at the Mexican?
Or just cheese and chicken.
I'm old. I just like the chicken tacos. I'm very basic. Does that surprise you?
Well, no, it don't. That's kind of what your wife told me about. She said JJ's basic.
I'm gonna take that one on the chin.
So JJ, who was your survivor pick?
It was actually I betted on Mingo Central.
Mingo Central. So
yes, sir.
JJ moved ahead. I can't remember, who did I pick.
That's a really good question. We got to start documenting this.
Yeah, I'll look through the scores.
You picked a conservative. You was a conservative pick.
Yeah,
I know that much.
I always do. I always pick. I'll pick Letcher Central over Wise, 43-7. So,
but you're smart because you've done the survivor picks over the years, and I was more of gambling, living on the edge. But now it's well, I've got one or two survivor picks on my radar, but I'm not picking them until the playoffs.
Okay. Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
The Highlands blanks Raceland 35-0 over the Rams, and that game went exactly like we thought it would. Anytime you face a big 5A power, you have a chance of that happening. And the Fighting Jared Lorenzens take down the Rams. Raceland falls to 1-3 on the season, but listen, they've had a tough schedule. Two of their losses have come to Ashland and Pikeville.
I mean, there's no shame in that.
No,
You
not
know
at
what I
all.
mean? If anything, you can get humbled early in the season and, pretty much evaluate yourself, and then come later in the season, it's like, okay, now we're ready to go.
You absolutely can. And as we sit here and look, Johnson Central smacks down North Laurel 42-0. Big victory for the Golden Eagles there. In that game, Zach McCoy led the way with 11 carries, 183 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And they only passed the ball twice. Austin Sloan was 1 for 2, 16 yards.
You say they only passed the ball twice?
Yeah,
Jesus.
only passed it twice. So,
how do you only do 2 passes like that? I mean,
well,
whatever works, but still, like, just
Belfry done it for years.
I know, but it's still fascinating to me. Like,
Johnson Central and Belfry are Russian teams, and they know where their bread's buttered, and Johnson Central's is buttered with Zach McCoy.
But I feel like if you throw a couple of passes in there, it just makes the opposing team's defense even more like, it's like, well, crap, they ran it 10 straight times. Surely they're going to do it 11, and then they do that pass play that catches you off guard. It's like,
it does, but I mean, I guess when you got the offensive line that Johnson Central's got, it really don't matter what you do, So, yeah. And credit, they're probably a lot more vulnerable in the passing game because a lot like Belfry through them years, their linemen ain't really taught as much to pass block. So, I mean, you're opening yourself to vulnerability whenever you do pass because you're not as good at it. So, Caleb Barnes and Dalton Matney led the Golden Eagles in tackles with 8 apiece in that one. So hats off to them. Lawrence County, 35-14 over Harlan County. Big victory for the Bulldogs, JJ. As when you take this Lawrence County team, this is a very good squad by Alan Short. Alan Short, one of the most underrated coaches that we got in the mountains, but being able to take down a 5'8" power like Harlan County is huge. And in that one, Luke Featheroff went 10 for 15, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had 5 carries, 60 yards, and a score on the ground. And Josh Spillman and Gray Deerfield both had big days on the defensive side as they had a fumble recovery and a interception. So, Bulldogs clicking right now as they improved to 3-1 on the season. Leslie County drops a close one to Clay County. Now, this is one where you could say they got a moral victory, because Clay County, very, very tough team, ended up only beating them by 1. And a lot of people had that 3-4 touchdown game, JJ.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull up the statistics for you real quick so we can –
there you go.
Do a little bit on this. So it looks like Jackson Braden had 1 pass completion, 4 passing attempts for 22 yards. Now, let's see what else we got over here. Aiden Carr had 173 rushing yards and scored 2 rushing touchdowns on 23 rushing attempts.
Well, that was for Clay County, correct?
No, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then we got Trenton Reed. He had 45 rushing yards, 8 rushing attempts for a score as well.
Okay, so big. I mean, I really like the fact that Leslie County played them within 1. And I picked them. I ended up losing that pick. I picked that as my upset of the week. Almost happened. So the Tim Couch statue brought a little mojo.
Yeah.
To Hyden, Kentucky. So. Letcher Central, faces Wise Central out of Virginia. They'll play a couple of them Virginia teams every year. They're right there on the border. Letcher Central, impressive 43-7 victory. And Gunnar Holbrook, the sophomore quarterback, 8 for 11, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then on the ground, he rushed the ball 1 time for 14 yards. Brett Smith led things in the rushing attack, 6 carries, 81 yards, 2 scores in that one. And Quentin Williams led the team with 10 tackles, and he had 3 sacks.
Oh.
So big defensive game for Quentin Williams.
It's a bad boy.
Yeah, bad boy. So as we jump down to the next one, Rowan County loses to Mason County 43-7. Mason County puts a smackdown on them. Martin County 28-22. This is a game McGoffin led, and a lot of people had this a 40-point game. And McGoffin County, John DeRossa, he come to the Rocky in Inez, Kentucky, and his team fought. They clawed. They got a couple turnovers. Defense was really the story of the game.
Yeah.
Kept them in the game, and Martin County found a way to win it at the end. But it was Devin Maynard still in the show in that one, JJ.
And that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm looking at the statistics. It says, 3 pass completions, 9 pass attempts, 44 passing yards. I mean, this team in general, like ever since they added.
Tell us his rushing stats.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, well, we're gonna look. He had 177 rushing yards and 4 scored touchdowns. Yeah, phenomenal. But I'll tell you, like this team, ever since they had the additions of Peyton and Parker. I've been really curious about how they're going to do like towards the end of the season. And, I really think that this might be a sleeper team. I don't know if they can win it all, but I do believe that, they're going to get at least one upset. Like I feel like they're going to have at least one surprise.
Martin County?
Yeah.
Yeah. They, Martin County, they're 4-1 on the season. This is a very good Martin County team.
Yeah.
They'll have a chance. They'll have a tough task this coming Friday as they'll face Perry Central. But speaking of the Commodores, Perry Central 34-14 victory over Shelby Valley. And, again, it was that rushing game that was clicking for Perry Central, and I said it. I said if Shelby Valley could get up quickly on them, they would have a chance to win this game. Well, Perry Central didn't let that happen as they end up, let's see. It was Gavin Combs carried the rock 17 times for 103 yards and 1 touchdown, and Caden Gitson 12 carries, 130 yards, and 2 scores. That game right there. That Thunder and Lightning matchup is going to keep them in a lot of ball games. And they're going to upset a lot of people because they can control the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So Perry Central is a team that, it don't matter who they play, they're going to have a chance. They went to Log Mountain and played Bell County tough. And especially when you combine that with the kicking game they got,
mm-hmm.
Bo Bakken, one of the most clutch kickers they are. He's Bo Bakken is a kid that, if you have a kick, if you said one kicker to kick for your life in the mountains, I would pick Bo Bakken. Look at this school record 47-yard field goal. Bakken booted that one through, JJ.
I'll tell you what, it looked like he could have maybe 52. That could have been a 52-yarder if he wanted it to be.
Well, he had an opportunity. He was 4 for 4 on PAT attempts too, but he could have easily. He had 10 more yards probably on it.
That is definitely something to be able to brag about. Like as far as like not from a individual. I mean, from an individual standpoint, but from a team standpoint, just to be able to say, I got a kicker.
Oh yeah, I mean that right there. When you're in a close game, it's really nice to have that advantage to say, I got a kicker that can kick it from 50 and
even 35. Like
47 yards. That was impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Hats off to the Commodores.
Absolutely.
Knott Central takes care of Phelps. Knott Central getting a huge win over the Hornets. The Hornets, they started 2-1. They end up falling to 2-2. I think that's what they fell to. 2-2 on the season. And this game right here, this Knott Central team, they're the thing about Knott Central is they win the games that they're supposed to win. And as long as you can do that, you can stay in the hunt of things.
Absolutely.
But and hopefully just continue to get better. They're 4-1 on the season. The one tough test they had, they got beat, and that was Betsy Lane. But as long as they continue, I mean, this is a team that could finish with a 500 record if they just take care of business.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Now, the game that shocked everybody, Belfry, didn't shock people, but
I just want to remind everybody that's who I did pick.
it definitely did shock the folks in Pikeville, as Pikeville thought that they was going to make it 6 years in a row, and they thought wrong, as the Belfry Pirates end up taking care of business with a 35-21 victory over the Pikeville Panthers. And, the thing about this game right here, as you see the Belfry guys celebrating there in the locker room after the big victory, see Chase and Caden Barney there and the crew. This Tristan Chapman. This is a team. This Belfry team. One of the in the last couple of years, this is one of the better Belfry teams we've seen, and for them to knock off a Pikeville team like that the way they did, it was. The score was two touchdowns, but the game wasn't that as close as what the score said.
So when was the last time Belfry won state? Was it 2021, 2020?
22, I think.
2022?
Yeah.
Was that the 0-5 team that ran the table?
Yeah, it was Isaac Dixon year. In that game right there, I thought Pikeville come out with I thought that they wanted to make it I thought they tried a lot to make it about Isaiah Stanley. He's a former Belfry Pirate, and they gave him the line share of the carries, 18 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So they wanted him to get a chance a chance to get one over on his team.
I think and of course, Brendan Anthony only got 4 carries. That tells me that, one, Belfry was focusing in on him, and 2, I hope that he gets back to 100% quicker sooner than later, because, he's the cog that makes this Panther train roll. And, only 4 carries, there's something going on there, because there's no way that he should only get 4 carries. So he must still be a little nagging injury, or, they were just afraid that Belfry was just focusing in on him too much.
Right.
And Isaac Duty, 10 for 17, 95 yards, and 1 score through the air. That was Braxton Kingston that caught that reception for 56-yard touchdown. And then, let's see, tackles. Drew Ferguson led the Panthers in tackles with 12, and Jeremiah Anderson had 11. Now, when you sit here and look, Belfry's not reported their stats yet, so we don't have theirs. But, this is a game that Pikeville, hopefully now after they got past this game, they can start, winning ball games now, and, start getting better and get that momentum rolling as they head into the postseason, and then try to win a state title. But, everybody knew this was their last big test there, and then they kind of it gets a little easier for them. Not much, but gets a little easier for them. And this game right here, there was a couple stories come out, and Janice Roden says in the comment section, what about the coach that made an unseen gesture to the Pirate player? Yeah, I wanted to mention something about that. Listen, I know that coach personally, and listen, I'm a Belfry guy, so I'm always going to take up for the Pirates. But it was definitely out of character for him, but it was in the heat of the moment. Remember that this coach had a son that used to play for Belfry. So this game means a little bit more to him.
A lot more emotion.
Yeah. And, emotions get heavy, as we've seen in the Prestonsburg game too. When players come over toward the sideline, things are said. Should he have done it? No. if he had to do it over, I guarantee you he would take it back. It's not his finest moment, but don't let that be a character. That's not what he's about.
Nobody's perfect.
No, I know
We're
this
all
guy, and situation. He probably got caught up in the heat of the moment. Now, I'm not taking up for the decision to do what he done. I'm just saying, things happen in the heat of the moment, and just know that this game, there's a lot at stake, because his son went over played for Pikeville. He may or may not have, I don't know, thought that his son got done right by Belfry. And, so there was a lot of heat, there on their side. So not taking up for him, but just saying, listen, I'll remember, like you said, nobody's perfect. We all, get caught up in things sometimes. And I guess the black eye would have been the TV station that carried the game. I know after the game, I went back and I seen everybody's comments talking about how one-sided they were. Remember, this TV station, they cover Pikeville for a living. That's what they are. They're a Pikeville sports network. And, so I get that they got homer tendencies. One thing, that we try, to do is we try to always be unbiased. And, it's hard sometimes, especially when we got teams like Chapmanville that we cover all the time, or, when the schools that we're at all the time, it's hard not to, sometimes be like, and talk about them in a we context.
Yeah.
But, I think we do a good job of it here. Now it was a little overbearing, but at the end of the day, just realize you're watching a Pikeville Sports Network when they call that, and that's what you're going to get. So
a little bit of biasness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're definitely going to be biased there. They got a show called Hell Pikeville, which is a good show. Great people on it. Doug, Heath, JR, and the crew. I watch it quite a bit, time to time, keeping up with them guys. But it shouldn't have caught anybody by surprise, because, like I said, it's a Pikeville Sports Network. Now, the radio crew is from Belfry. They got probably the best radio crew that they are, in Nee Jackson and Bobby Norman and Steve Mickey. So
Coach Mickey.
Yeah. So
I didn't know he was on a.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he does a fabulous job, and so that shouldn't have caught anybody off guard. It is hard to watch as a Belfry fan, because all you hear is complaining about calls and stuff like that. But it just know what you're watching is all I can say. And and I get it. Like sometimes we try to be about as unbiased as we can. But
that's what you always preach to me.
Yeah.
You say try not to wear, regardless of whether you're a Central fan, a Belfry fan, Pikeville fan, don't come to a game with a specific T-shirt on, because proper etiquette says don't.
And even if you you got a team that's from out of area, now they're going to have fans watching too. Yeah. You want to try to call the game down the middle. Now you can, if it's a team from out of area, you can be like, well, hopefully Chapmanville can drive down and get a score here. You can say stuff like that, but you don't ever want to go too far left where you turn the other fans off.
Right.
So then I think that was done on Friday night, and it caught a lot of Pirate fans, by surprise. So as we move on here, guys, keep them comments, questions coming here as we got, let's see. Stephen Castdor says Pikeville plays Ironton this week. So, no, it does not get easier for Ironton this week. So
I was just about to ask you, are they still a powerhouse like they were years ago?
They absolutely are. That they may be better than they was years ago.
Yeah, when I was in school, when Belfry was dominating, that was always the team that humbled them.
Yeah, well, that was, we ended up we never beat them until every time Belfry played them. I think Belfry only beat them once, and that was in '99. They might have beat them later on in life, like in 2016 range. I can't remember if they played then, but seems like they may have. But they only beat them one time, and that was in '99. A team that didn't, no, it was 01. It was the 01 team with Casey Leakwhite quarterback, I No, 99. 99. I'm sorry. That was the game. It was on a Saturday, and D.R. Harmon got the scoop and score. Ooh, I
didn't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, as D.R. Harmon got the scoop and score as just a tough a tough game as and Ironton, this Ironton team, one thing they got is speed all over, JJ. This is a team that could give Pikeville some issues because that's where, and they like to run the football too, so that's where Pikeville struggles right now.
Yeah.
So it'd be very tough to see them winning that game. But hats off to the Pirates. Pirates end a 5-year losing streak.
I knew it was going to happen too.
And I don't know if you got to see afterwards. One of our great sponsors, Three Guys Pizza and Brew, stayed open late, fed the Pirates whenever they returned to town. And then the Pirates stopped under the street lights. And I don't know if you know, but that's it's a historical thing that they do. Every time they win a state title, they stop under the red lights and they unload the buses and they dance under the red lights.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, I had a chance to go to the second state championship game, and I think we got back at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think we did a celebration, but I don't know if that must be something that they started doing after the third or fourth one, maybe.
Yeah, I think they done it in the first one, if I'm not mistaken. If you read Philip Haywood's book, Faith Family Football, listen, I highly suggest you read it. Whether you like football or not, it's a book that teaches you a lot about life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I got a copy here or not. I used to, but I'll have to try to find it. But I highly suggest you read that copy because it, he talks about, he ties football in with everyday life stuff. And, he tells a story about the red lights and how it come about. And, but they stopped under the red lights. First time I've ever seen them do it for a regular season game. And, hats off to Coach Haywood and the Belfry crew as they got that monkey off their back.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years of getting beat by a single A team. I mean, granted, they're no ordinary single A team.
Yeah.
However, still,
normally they got a bigger roster than what Belfry's got.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's check out next game on our schedule. West Carter 65-44 victory over Powell County. Powell County come in with a full head of steam as Pike Central. They knocked off Pike Central, so they had the momentum going into this week. But West Carter really curbed that momentum as they had a very explosive night on offense, JJ.
Now you need to pull up them stats real quick if you can.
Oh, I am. Wait till I tell you about these stats.
Well, I'm really excited.
The man of the night, and let's see here, was wide receiver. Their wide receiver, he had himself a day as Caden Thompson. 10 receptions, 287 yards, and 6 touchdown catches.
Jesus, that's got to be close to a record. I mean, I wonder what a record is for most rushing touchdowns in a game, most touchdown receptions in a single game, passing yards. I'd be really curious to know, if anybody around here holds any records.
Well, you have to let me think about it here, and I can pretty much tell you who all of them are.
I would say Sean Alexander's probably one.
He
was from Kentucky, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure if his records still hold or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But in that game right there, it wasn't just Caden Thompson. Hayden Hall, quarterback for the Comets, went 15 for 20 passing, 396 yards, and 5 touchdowns through the air. Yeah, he had himself a big day. And Dwaylon Dean, the running back, 14 carries, 175 yards, 4 touchdowns for the Comets on the ground. And then it was Weston Kaiser leading the team in tackles with 8. Peyton Walker also had 8 for the Comets. So, I'm very happy for Daniel Barker and the Comets being able to get back here on the right track with a win over Powell County. and you hate to see Powell County just got that momentum going for them and end up losing one to West Carter. If they would have won, they could have had a lot of people talking about, well, this team's for real. Well, I think they're for real anyways. They beat Pike Central at home at Buckley's Creek, and then they play West Carter. Listen, you lost, but you still put up 44 points.
Yeah.
And it was Brady Skidmore in that one, 11 for 26 passing, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also, Jacob Green carried the rock 20 times, 193 yards, and a score there. They was led in tackled by Aiden Larison with 7. So big game for Powell County too. Offensively, just wasn't enough though.
I mean, if you put up 40 points, I mean that's got to be. I mean that's just a few defensive adjustments, and
Well, here we go. And JJ, you got the Prestonsburg stats pulled up for us.
Give me one moment.
We got Pike Central loses to Prestonsburg 45-7.
Oh, we're going to find that.
Big victory there for the Black Cats as they take care of business at home. Stay undefeated at 5-0. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here.
There it is. Big hole.
Alex Harris, he broke loose. He's across the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Black Cats. Again, Coach Holbrook under center here. And second man through. He's got space, Coach. He's across the 50, the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown.
What he's doing right.
Absolutely. He's done a fabulous job. Jameer Knuckles throws out, screen pass again. Oh, trick pass. Touchdown, Hawks. CJ Combs. Yep. Holbrook dropping back to pass. Got him down. Black Cats came Patton on the touch in the backfield with him. Holbrook dropping back. Throws a strike. Intercepted. Pike Central. He's across the 50. And that is Lane. There you go. Holbrook.
Nice job by Holbrook.
Yeah, dropping back to pass. He's dancing back there. He's got a man, Coach, wide open across the 50. He's got space. He's across the 30. Can he get blockers? Let's see here. No, he's still on his feet. Finally brought down. Hard to stop this. There's Holbrook. And he got it.
Looks like he got it.
Down block. I think the offensive line doesn't do him any favors right now. They got to get better there, but I believe in Scott Grizzle.
Nice.
Did he catch it? Touchdown, Black Cats. Knowing Jameer.
There he is. There he is. There it is, Darryl McCoy.
And he got it, Coach, and he got the first down, Coach. And listen, credit Jaden Stewart. It's that we may do the top 20 overall in our coverage area.
Oh, that's big time.
Yeah. It popped up. Intercepted again. A tip pass. Prestonsburg has a shot. They're down the sideline. He's across the 40, the 30, 20. He's got 6. Touchdown.
Oh, wow.
Big game there for the Black Cats as they took care of business comfortably, 45-7 over Pike Central. Big story was Jameer Knuckles being ejected with about 2 minutes to go, and now he's going to have to sit out a game. That's the rule. And, I personally, I don't know. I'm not going to go into rumors, so I don't know what happened. I wasn't on the sideline. Just from where I was at, I was shocked when they told me after the game that he got kicked out, because what happened was he ended up taking and got a squib kicked to him. He got hit and his helmet popped off. Well, he ended up running and trucked over 2 more guys without a helmet on. And he got up, and it looked like to me he was just, fired up, because he just trucked the guy. And now there was some stuff, it said things could have been done, or said maybe toward the sideline that got him ejected. But I didn't, I don't know whether or not that's true. I know from what I seen, it didn't look like he needed ejected. Now, we still don't know what was said or what was done to the sideline. whenever that comes out, then maybe I might change my mind on it. But it looked like to me he was just trying to inspire his team and pump them up.
Yeah, because he just got his helmet knocked off. So I mean, for him to be able to still show the heart to keep playing and then run a guy over, I mean, that's.
But that one highlight late in the game, Eric, we showed, that was Jaden Stewart receiving the pass from his younger brother, Jameer Knuckles. So brother to brother, that was Jaden Stewart's first ever catch. So definitely a big moment there, but it wasn't enough as Prestonsburg goes into next week 5-0. Will face Betty Lane. Somebody will get their first loss next week in the battle for Floyd County.
Somebody's O has got to go.
There you go.
There you go,
JJ.
yeah.
Then Warren, Ohio spanks Paintsville 56-0. Now,
Jesus.
Paintsville, credit, they did not have A.J. Johnson. So no A.J. Johnson, then you got a big problem if you're the Paintsville Tigers, as he had a knee injury. Hopefully, send prayers out to him. Hopefully he gets back. He has the MRI today, so hopefully we hear good news. And then Western Hills, 47-0 over Morgan County. Big victory. Western Hills stays undefeated at 4-0. Morgan County started out undefeated, then they lost to Fairview, and now Western Hills. Now you look back and that game against Fairview becomes all more important.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know if you can answer this question because I know you do a lot of your stuff on Thursdays with Coach Jones, but out of all the teams that are currently undefeated, who do you think will be the first one to go down? Or is that something that we have to say?
The first undefeated team to drop?
Yeah, to take a loss.
Let's see. You're looking Betty Lane, Prestonsburg. Let's see who else is undefeated in our coverage area.
Are there many left? I mean, it seemed like there's a few left. I mean, West Side's 4-0.
Yeah. I don't know. That would have to be probably my answer is who does West Side play next week? That
let me check and see if I can find the schedule.
My answer would probably have to do on that because obviously, they would. Well, no, actually, I'll tell you my answer. It's either Prestonsburg or Betty Lane because one of them's going to drop.
I mean, that is.
So
I mean, that is true.
Yeah. So
I won't ask you who you got that game. We'll wait for till Wednesday. But
Johnson Central, now they're 4-1. I do know they got Corbin coming to town soon, so I don't know how they're going to end up. I would say they'll enter the playoffs with 2 to 3 losses.
West Side's got Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty Raleigh.
Yeah, or just as Liberty. I don't know if there's a Liberty Raleigh, but
it's Liberty Raleigh. The West Side should win that. Mingo Central spanked them, so they should stay undefeated at least one more week. Now Tug Valley, they're back in action this week as well. So
they're 3-0.
Yeah, and then Wayne's undefeated too at 3-0. So, but that rounds out the scores. Now JJ has one to take and mention here just a second. Well, I tell you what, we're running short on time, so let's go to blind draw. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's see what we got.
Blind draw.
This is always exciting.
A pet cat gets lost in Yellowstone. Somehow it wandered 93, wandered nearly 1,000 miles back home.
Now, this is a feel-good story.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we need. We need to at least have one feel-good story of the day. So, a cat who got lost in Yellowstone National Park somehow traveled more than 900 miles to return home after 2 months with help from the Pets Microchip, an animal welfare organization said. Rainbow is a 2.5-year-old Seat Point mitted Siamese.
Yeah.
Cat. His owners, Suzanne and Benny from California, were visiting the park in Wyoming when he wandered off, Suzanne told ESPN. The recently relocated cat, whose name is pronounced as Rainbow, went missing on the first day of their trip to Fishing Bridge RV Park on June the 4th. And it says that he ran off into the forest after getting startled, and the couple's attempts to lure him back with his favorite treats and toys were unsuccessful. It said we had to leave without him, and that was the hardest day because they felt like they was abandoning him. but eventually he made his way back. So, it took 61 days, but he, managed to come back. And I think that's crazy how,
Well, he made his way back to California.
Yeah.
And still, he was a little bit away from home, but he was on his way. And somehow Wyoming to California, that just tells you how smart animals are, and
1,000 miles.
1,000 miles.
Yeah, even if he only got 60 miles away or 60 miles to go and they went and picked him up, it's just like to be able to have the knowledge, to go that far, to not make one single wrong turn, just to keep moving forward and still get there. I mean, that's fascinating to me.
And especially, if you're in Yellowstone, you got some, you got bears and you got all kinds of coyotes and mountain lions. You got all kinds of bad animals there that could have really hurt him. And
you were able to dodge all of those bullets. I wonder how many you think that cat used?
At least 6 of them.
At least 6.
But it was talking, that's why it's important to get your animals microchipped, because some woman found the cat and it was said that it was in really bad health. And she found it, took it to the vet, and there was a microchip in it, and that's how they ended up finding it. But I could imagine being them people having to leave your cat at the forest.
Oh, absolutely. I know if I lost my cat, I'd be devastated too. So
I mean,
I'm right there with you, because that's your family.
Yep. Hats off to them as they end up getting their cat back. So Rainbow is home,
and that's the feel good story of the day.
Yep. So JJ,
we got another blind draw for us.
Court rules: nearly 98,000 Arizonians whose citizenship hadn't been confirmed can vote the full ballot.
Here we go. I can already imagine what this is going to look like in November.
This is awful. Awful.
Really?
At the end of the day, if you're not a legal citizen here, you should not be able to vote.
Absolutely.
I would be for prisoners, for felons to vote way before undocumented citizens.
So didn't they do something in Florida about once you've done your time, some states, once you've done your time, you can get your rights back to vote?
I did see something like that. I don't know what state it was.
Either Georgia, Florida, one of those states.
It was something like that, and I did see that. But this is ridiculous. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be voting here. You're here illegally. You're here illegally. You should not have the rights of American people.
I agree with that 110%.
And that's what's wrong with these people that's voting for Kamala Harris. I just so happened to find out that I tell you what, I've always known he was a strong Democrat, but I will not be buying Eminem albums anytime soon. Well, I take that back. I try not to, but I was really disappointed in young Marshall.
Well, he's always been political. Like back in the day, he did that song called Mosh about George W. Bush. So he's always been somebody that's spoken out politically, but I've always tried my best to not pay it. Yeah. It's just like one of my favorite singers. He's currently in prison. Not going to mention his name, but it's hard not to.
Who's R. Kelly?
We're not going to mention his. I believe I can fly.
There you go. There you go, JJ. JJ singing.
There you go.
The serenading us here on the morning show.
Hey, you got to keep them, keep the
Well,
crowd engaged.
I tell you something that I'm very interested in is seeing how the P. Diddy stuff ends up. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff come out with this P. Diddy trial.
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to even get there. You know what I mean? Like with the Jeffrey Epstein situation.
Yeah. Well, I could see something like that happening because he's got way too much stuff in his life that he knows on people. And, you don't want that stuff coming out. And whenever you take a look at P. Diddy, there's a video out right now of one of his parties with Kevin Hart. And if you watch the end of it, a girl in the bathtub's hair catches on fire in the background.
Well, they did mention something where I don't know if the article's true, but his wife saw some footage or something, and now she's wanting to get a divorce. I don't know how true that is, allegedly, but
talking about Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
I could see it because it was clear in that he was trying in that video at the beginning, he was trying to you're not getting me in the bed. You're not doing this, trying to seprate himself. And then as he got a few drinks in him and
He's
got
like,
loose,
oh,
you could tell he was
that
becoming
baby.
part of
Get
it.
that baby.
And it was hilarious. But whenever you take and look, even in that, for some reason, they must do something. You talked about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They had Listerine.
That's a lot of bottles. I mean, you got to think. I mean,
well, and you could see in that video there was baby oil in the background, so it's something that they had for a long time there at P. Diddy parties, and then you seen pictures coming out with a young Justin Bieber. Now, something that happened on July 24th that I didn't know is the what's his name? Is it Keefe Johnson or
the guy that killed Tupac? The guy that was in the car.
Yeah, he said in court that P. Diddy paid him $1 million hit on Tupac in court, and nobody's heard about that.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's hard to believe. And I think the difference between this case versus the Epstein case is like the FBI, they got all the footage. They got all the computers, all the footage. It just comes down to what they personally want to release.
Yeah.
And who's gonna pay them off to prevent it from getting released. But they've got 15 years worth of stuff.
Listen,
so,
I promise you, hell, more than 15. P. Diddy's what, 20, 30 years?
He's 56, I think.
I mean, nearly 30 years because he came out in 94. He was around 94. So,
but you got to remember technology.
Yeah,
hadn't to computers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
early 2000s is when that stuff started getting big.
I'm sure that they back then, P. Diddy and them, they probably had some of them old VHS cameras.
Yeah,
that, there's probably some tapes looming around.
Yeah,
but that just I hate it. Because I was a big P. Diddy fan, and I hate it for him. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't have done it. You're a millionaire.
But when
multi-millionaire,
people get addicted to that power and having control over people,
they do. But man, I would find legal stuff to do. And listen, I'll tell anybody, if you don't have a family, you're missing out. At the end of the day, if you got that money, you got all the money you need. Get yourself a family, and that'll keep you on the straight and narrow, because there's nothing like, having a loved one that depends on you. And, you're missing the true joy of life. You can talk about all the parties you want, but eventually that stuff gets old,
We get old too.
Yeah. And it will keep you out of a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So
wise words from my main man, Darryl.
Absolutely. So, let's see.
You got any more blind draws for us?
Yep. CNN, North Carolina GOP, Mark Robinson made lewd and disturbing comments on porn site.
Yeah, now this was a TikTok video that I had sent you, but we will find us an article real quick on it.
Well, basically he was on dating sites, and said a lot of stuff he shouldn't. And then he also said some racial stuff. Said that he was a black Nazi. And
what in the world?
And now he's coming out saying, and the sexual content is way too graphic to talk about, that he said.
So it just goes to show you, like, in this day and age, stay off the computer. Like, choose your words wisely.
Especially if you're a candidate that has, and your dreams is holding an office. Stay off the phone, stay off the dating sites. And
it's like, we don't need people like that in office. Like, we need people like the individual that we're encouraging everybody to get out and vote for. He's a really good Freddie Lewis, a really good man, and he really cares about the future.
Yeah,
like, he truly wants to make the world a better place, not just for his kids, his grandkids, just the community in general. Like, these are the kind of people we need. We don't need people like this that are just on a power trip that want to just have control over everybody and do all this negative stuff. We need people that's really going to try to make a difference in the communities.
Yep. So very tough air for Mark Robinson. Also, Janet Jackson didn't authorize apology for comments about Kamala Harris. Race Rep says, in this right here, Janet Jackson basically come out and said that Kamala Harris said she's not sure she's even black. Said she found out that her dad is white, and I guess her mom's Indian, and said she's questioning her blackness. And so Janet Jackson and her camp come out with an apology. Now Janet Jackson's coming out and saying, I did not apologize, and my camp did not have permission to apologize for me. So it's going to be interesting to see where this one goes.
One of the things about politicians, like they love to jump on the bandwagon and appeal to their voters, but it's like, eventually if you're not telling the truth, it's going to come back to bite you. And in this situation, like, you can only choose who you want to be for so long. Eventually you got to pick an identity and stick with it.
Absolutely.
I don't know another nice way to put it, but
and that makes me even more Janet Jackson fan, knowing that she's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
So hey, listen,
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for these shows that we're going to have in the future whenever November rolls around. Like the next debate, the election. Like, are we going to have us a special episode where we're keeping track of the votes in real time? That's going to be really exciting to see.
It will. As one of the roughest stories of the weekend, and I hate this, man. This is a tough story for one of our favorite communities. As the sheriff in Letcher County, Sheriff Sean Steins, ends up shooting Judge Mullins, Kevin Mullins, in Letcher County. Still a lot of we're not going to go into what could or couldn't, but JJ's going to read the story of what happened.
Yeah, just try to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown, but if it gets too much, we'll
well, we're not going to go into any speculations right now. There's a lot of speculations out there. We don't know what is and what ain't true yet.
Absolutely.
So won't go into that, but JJ, tell us about the story.
So the sheriff charged with the murder and the shooting of rural Kentucky judge in his courthouse chambers was accused in a federal lawsuit of failing to investigate allegations that one of his deputies repeatedly, did some stuff, abuse. But the preliminary investigation indicates that Letcher County Sheriff.
Well, they said one of his deputies. Yeah, I mean, that's stated there. One was sexually assaulted a prisoner.
Yeah, like I'm trying
the judge's chambers.
Yeah, I don't want to,
Well, that stuff's fine because it's out there.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, in what caused the sheriff to shoot the
guy.
We don't want to speculate on that.
So the preliminary investigation indicates that Letcher County Sheriff shot District Judge Kevin Mullins multiple times on Thursday following an argument inside the courthouse, according to Kentucky State Police. Mullins, who held the judgeship for 15 years, passed away at the scene, and Stein surrendered without incident. Just what the two men were arguing about wasn't immediately made clear. So we're making that very clear that we don't know exactly. We've heard a couple of things, but we're not going to comment on them. So Steins was deposed on Monday in a lawsuit filed by two women, one of whom alleged that a deputy forced her to, do some things in Mullins' chambers for 6 months in exchange for staying out of jail. The lawsuit accuses the sheriff of deliberate indifference and failing to adequately train and supervise the deputy.
See, and we're not going to speculate on what happened in the chambers, but what they do know, they run the cameras back, and basically, I went through the rabbit hole. One of the other judges, the district judge, seen the judge and the sheriff like an hour before that eating lunch together.
Really?
Yeah, they was eating lunch together.
So it almost seemed like everything was perfectly fine.
And then the camera inside the judge's office called them. Basically, the sheriff got up, locked the door, and the judge and him exchanged phones. And when they exchanged phones, the sheriff looked at his phone, and then he went over around his desk, shot him once, and when he went down, shot him 8 more times. And tough situation here, man.
When you shoot somebody like that many times, it's like, what in the world?
We do not know what caused.
Yeah, we like because you got to be really angry with somebody.
Yeah.
To pull the trigger that many times.
Very angry. And, so tough situation. I hope they get it figured out, man, because both of these guys was, had upstanding reputations in Letcher County and was well liked. So, you hate to see that, man, for one of our favorite counties in our coverage area.
I just hope that the truth comes out. Like, not just a story, like the actual truth of whatever happened and led up to that moment.
That's it. So, definitely prayers going out to Letcher County.
Absolutely.
So,
so what do you do in a situation like that? The judge is the main guy. So, one of the main guys, like, and now he's like, do they have somebody else that's going to step up or?
Do not know, but, very, very tough situation there. The last thing on our topic list today, JJ, Sheho Otani, first member of the 50-50 club. We mentioned this day in history. Jose Canseco
was the first 40.
On this day in history was the first one to ever join the 40-40 club. Sheho Otani, 50-50, 50 home runs, 50 steals.
Now, what's interesting about this game is there's a lot of people out there saying that this has been the greatest baseball game ever played. And I don't know if I would say the best game I've ever seen, but as far as like from an individual standpoint and the circumstances, I mean, you could look throughout history and with an exception of a perfect game thrown by a pitcher, you got a guy that went 6 for 6. He broke the record and was the first ever person of the 50-50 club, 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. And then on top of that, 3 out of 6 of his hits were home runs. He started the game with 48 home runs. And then he ended the game having 51 home runs total. So, he went 40 or 49. So he went 49, 50, and then 51.
Remind you of the old Bonds days when he would have, 46, 47, 48.
Well, the day I think the day that Barry Bonds hit 73, I think he had a 3 home run day that day.
Yeah, 71, 72, 73.
Yeah,
so,
I remember watching that.
Yeah, but hats off. Baseball needs this. Baseball needs this from Sheho Otani. I ain't gonna lie. I watch baseball when it comes postseason time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I watch it. If there is ever a player like Otani or the Dela Cruz for the Reds, and I get a chance to watch them, I will tune in just to watch greatness.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever get a chance, like if I'm walking by the TV and I see them on, I'll stop and watch. But other than that, postseason's all I care about. But
what's interesting about Shohei is he was injured. Like he's normally a starting pitcher as well. Yeah. And this year he's not able to pitch because he sustained an injury last year. So this is an off year for him.
It is.
So imagine your off year, you still make history by being the first ever person to be a part of this club. And it's, he really is the modern day Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And people are saying that he's the best to ever do it. And I say, if he can win at least one World Series title, I don't know how you can argue him. Because, a lot of times you're based on, like, how much you win.
Yeah.
So, Barry Bonds, he won 7 MVPs, but he's got an asterisk, obviously. But if this guy can win at least one World Series or at least compete in the World Series, it'd be kind of hard to argue against him.
Well, absolutely. So, JJ, I think that rounds out all of our topics today. Let me make sure here on the on my list. Make sure we didn't forget.
I think we have one that we might have forgot.
Yeah,
it was the Anthony Joshua one.
Yeah,
for all the boxing fans out there, they missed a pretty good fight over the weekend. Anthony Joshua, he was about a 3.5 to 1 favorite to beat an individual named Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
Dubois, and Dubois knocked him out in the 5th round.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 to 1 favorite. That's big.
Yeah. He's a huge favorite.
Yeah. I didn't. I was going to search for a video of it and could not or did not find one. So hopefully, we can. I was going to try to find one and have you guys for you guys to be able to see the knockout. We'll try to go over it tomorrow. As Planet Fitness in Pikeville opens, guys, they are now hiring. So make sure a couple businesses and 304 Speedway coming to the West Virginia side. make sure you guys frequent them businesses.
Absolutely.
As they open, they're going to try to set their mark. Both of them could be huge businesses for the mountains. Planet Fitness, located in Co Run. Go by if you're looking for a job. If you've always wanted to be in that kind of work, go to Planet Fitness. They are hiring today. They are taking applications on site. So make sure you guys go out to that. And guys, for JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy, we're going to jump out and call it a day. And we will see you tomorrow morning here on the Start Up Morning Show. You're watching the D&D Sports Network. Till next.